What's up, Totem Pole Nation? Welcome back to Lambo and Matt's World of Sports. Today, we are getting into the Cowboys and the Eagles, the two, at the time, we were saying best teams in the NFC when we were doing our rankings, best teams in the NFL at some points during the season. Obviously, both of them embarrassing losses. So we're going to get into those. We're going to make our decision on who we think is, more embarrassing or less embarrassing. It's not going to be a fun conversation for me, obviously, but we'll get to that. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. TotemPoleNation.com is in the ticker if you want to go there to support the boys by getting some gear. Also, the Sideline Sports Network Twitter pages for the Cowboys and Eagles are below as well. Let's get into it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, all right, both Eagles and Cowboys, they both lost, but I guess they were unexpected losses. I said that the Green Bay Packers was going to beat the beat the Cowboys. This man said, stop disrespecting my Cowboys. No. I predict the future when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Green Bay obviously snuck in the playoffs. You got to give them some credit. I also said that Jordan Love I wasn't sold on Jordan Love, but he's proved me wrong for right now. I said he was great this season. I did not say he would be great overall. We'll have to see how it comes against the 49ers this weekend. That's not what I said. When it comes to the Eagles as well, I did pick the Buccaneers to beat the Eagles. The Eagles secondary is not good at all. And the Eagles offense has been struggling. The Eagles went from 10-1 to 11-6, which is awful. It is very, very awful. Now, I've already said what I had to say about my Cowboys. I predict the future. I knew that they were going to lose, and Dak is 2-5 in the playoffs. All of it is not on Dak Prescott. We got to put some blame on Mike McCarthy because he lied to y'all and said that he was going to run the football more, but it never happened. They ran the ball better more with Kellen Moore than they did with Mike McCarthy. You can respond in a second. But second of all, Jerry Jones decides to bring that man back, Mike McCarthy. Now, I think it's smart, but I think Jerry lied to y'all again. He wants to keep the man. If Mike McCarthy don't exceed expectations, he is going to get fired. Now, personally, I'm not calling the man out for this job. Mike McCarthy is good enough to get you 12 wins, but is Mike McCarthy good enough to get you to a Super Bowl? Which it shows he's won 3 games over the last 36 games over the last 3 years. Makes sense. But we've seen coaches that can't win the big game. We've seen that with Marvin Lewis, a great coach, but he was 0-8 in the playoffs. We just seen that. Not a comparison, but I just have to tell the truth. When it comes to the Eagles, I think Nick Sirianni's job is on the line. You took him. This is his 4th season coming up. First season, you went 9-7-1 or 9-8-1, whatever it was. You took him to the Super Bowl, and then you went from a Super Bowl to you had the league 10-1, and then you went downhill. If I'm the Eagles, I'll consider Bill Belichick. If I'm the Eagles, but which loss is more embarrassing? I would have to say both teams, just because we expected both teams to at least play each other again in the playoffs. And from the Eagles' expectations, they're supposed to go back to the Super Bowl. They had all the motivation. They just fell apart. Jalen Hurts didn't have a great season despite the rushing touchdowns, the touch push. He had about damn near double-digit interceptions along with Pat Mahomes. Dak Prescott, great numbers throughout the season, but in the playoffs, they were bad. And then when it comes to the Cowboys offensively, they have to be ahead in order for them to win. Once they were down 21-0, we knew the game was over. Go ahead.
All right. So I can't disagree with anything you said, and I'll start with which one I think is more embarrassing because I will say it's whatever side that you have your bias towards, you're going to say the opposite side. You're neutral in this because you kind of don't like either team. So I agree with you because for me as a Cowboys fan, I see all the hate on Twitter all the time from everybody, but mostly Philly, right? But I'm sure as like if a Philly fan was here, they'd be saying the same thing, the same thing that I'm saying. So I think that they're both, equally embarrassing just because I think the expectations in the season now, the Philly collapse happening so much sooner than Dallas's makes Dallas's more like surprising, I think. But I don't think that necessarily makes it more embarrassing. So I don't know. I think it's whatever side you have your bias to. Now, the running game situation, I agree that in Mike's original statement, he said he was going to run the ball more. Dom Basketball for Life says, how do you say Ravens could play in the Super Bowl? Yeah, I mean, I think that's the easiest prediction to make. Yeah. I think both one seeds making it is a pretty good thing to put like money on because that's going to have your like lowest odds. So I don't know. I mean, yeah.
But we seen the Ravens collapse with the 1 seed back in 2019. We see them collapse against the Tennessee Titans.
I love this. Now let me get into the game. All right, so I was fine with not relying on the run. Tony Pollard still had over 1,000 yards, but we know that he was only getting about 60 yards a game, not what we expected him to be. So not going to re-sign him more than likely. That's another topic for another day. This game itself, we relied way too heavily on the run. We didn't have our second pass on second down until there were 56 seconds left in the first half. Second downs were exclusively rundowns in the entire first half. It wasn't working. And Mike, like you said, has a lot of blame in this, did not make any adjustments. Hold on. Yeah, whatever. All right, throwing me off track. All right, so then we get to the second half. Or no. Before we even get to the second half, we need to mention that all this shit talk that's been put on Dak Prescott, all of it, like, did he play bad in this game? Yeah. I think if you say no, you weren't watching the first 2.5 quarters before he decided to start throwing the ball accurately again and everything. So, like, obviously, he was staring down receivers. That's what led to the pick six. But we cannot just put this all on Dak when the defense let so many points occur. Like, I get it, the pick six, you can take 7 off of it. We got boat raced. Our defense was allowing 15 play drives that take up, 6 minutes, 7 minutes of game time to then score. We go down even more. We have less time. The offense can't find a flow. And every single second down, we're fucking, running the ball when all year what's been successful, like passing the ball at a much higher rate than running it. Yeah, it's like we run it about like 5% more than we did last year. Whatever. Like our team is successful during, games where we're just going off in the air when Dak is going off. Or the defense. Now we can shift to the defense. What did the defense do well all year? Play man coverage. Guess what we did more than anything in this game? Play zone. And every single time we were in zone, it was a 15-yard in the middle of the field wide open because our pass rush would get through. Jordan would scramble, look like Aaron Rodgers, which is just so terrifying for me as a Cowboys fan in the playoffs, obviously, which I don't even have to mention. The Packers did it to me again. Again, the Packers did this to me. So basically, we were out-coached. I don't think that we were outmatched talent-wise at all. I think that we were just out-coached. Dan Quinn shit his pants, all right? Mike McCarthy did what people outside of the Cowboys expected him to do, which was fuck up in the playoffs. He's always had a bad time management rap sheet, but now into the playoffs, we can actually start to consider, like, I agree with you, we can start considering him a coach that just can't get it done. And, like, I didn't think getting rid of him this year was the best idea. I mean, he's the first Cowboys coach in history to have 3 consecutive 12-win seasons. Like, we're right there. But we're right there all the time. And that's what's, the most frustrating thing. That's why everybody else hates the Cowboys, because we're always talking about how we're like right there and we can do it. And then we just, trip over our own feet. We get beat in zone coverage when we've been playing man the best all year. The linebackers finally came back to bite us, being down in that room, having a bunch of safeties play linebacker, not going to be able to stop Aaron Jones. But even then, the personnel that we were going out there on clear running downs, like Aaron Jones has been cooking us all game, and we go out there and nickel. And it's like, why do you think that having another, like taking what few linebackers we have, taking them off the field and bringing in like a nickel corner, how is that going to help us? Like it's not. We've been getting the ball run down our throats all game, and we're coming out here in these small sets, and it just doesn't make any sense. So I think we just, flat out got out coached. Obviously, Dak didn't play well until halfway into the third, and you can talk about his garbage time stats. Like he had over 400 yards. He got his passer rating up to like 92. But we all saw those first 2.5 quarters. So
it's not only that, but Aaron Jones is not a bad running back. But Aaron Jones only had 2 rushing touchdowns the whole season. He got 3 against the Dallas Cowboys.
He was also hurt for a lot of the season. We got to remember that. A.J. Dillon was the main back for a lot of the season. But I hear you.
That part is true. Not only with the Cowboys and stuff, but just me being New Jersey. I gotta not just because of me being New Jersey, but I gotta put some hate on the Eagles, because it's funny how the Eagles and the Cowboys fans, it's fun commentaries that they talk shit. And the Eagles fans are talking shit first. I was like, look, y'all. I told somebody, I said, look, y'all gonna lose too. Tampa Bay look good. Baker Mayfield look good. I mean, Baker Mayfield look good. I said this prior. Why did I pick the Cowboys to beat the Eagles the first time? Or maybe I picked them to beat twice, because the Eagles secondary is garbage. That secondary is so bad. They can't stop anybody. Guess who your defensive coordinator is? Matt Patricia.
That's not going to work.
Matt Patricia that fucked up my Super Bowl against the same fucking team. Tom Brady threw for 505 fucking yards, and you have Matt Patricia giving up 41 points. But then next year we get Brian Flores. 3 points to a Rams team that had number 1 offense in the league. Matt fucking Patricia. That's your problem. 1 is Matt Patricia. Number 2, when it comes to the Eagles, I think Jalen Hurts is overrated. Now, I'm not hating on the man. He's good enough. Jalen Hurts is good enough to get y'all to a Super Bowl. He already did that. I just think y'all give Jalen Hurts more credit, and you shit more on Dak Prescott. But see, here's the problem that y'all
Talk to him.
Here's the problem that y'all do. See, every time Jalen Hurts has, even though the Eagles win games, which the point is to win games, y'all Eagles fans said that MVP caliber numbers is 150 yards, an interception, and I don't know what his QB rating was at the time against the some random team.
Yeah,
an interception, no touchdown pass.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Whatever game it was, I can't remember the game. I watched the game, but y'all keep saying that's MVP numbers. No. The turnovers is not MVP numbers. Despite Patrick Mahomes getting interceptions, he makes up for it with his touchdowns. Despite Josh Allen with the same thing. This year he's improved more. He doesn't turn the ball over as much with the interceptions, but he does have some fumbles. But the same disrespect that you have to give Dak Prescott, you have to give it to Jalen Hurts. It has to be the same. It cannot be one-sided Dak this and Dak that. I understand that Dak Prescott has 2 playoff wins. I do understand that he's around talented guys, but at the end of the day, you have to shit on Jalen Hurts, because Jalen Hurts, numbers-wise, I'm not gonna say the man had a bad season, but numbers-wise, it's not MVP numbers compared to what Dak Prescott had MVP numbers. If you look at it, Dak Prescott was the runner-up for MVP, not Jalen Hurts. He had more rushing touchdowns or close to rushing touchdowns than passing touchdowns, but you Eagles fans, your quarterback ain't really all that. He's really not. He ain't all that. All right. He has help from a running game. He has help from A.J. Brown. He has help from Devontae Smith. It's talent around him. It's not the man carrying him by himself.
Thank you.
That's it.
Dude, because all people want to say, this year, especially with Dak, if people even acknowledge his numbers, it's like, oh, well, he's just throwing a CD every game. Like he's just using like one really good weapon. Bro, Jalen Hurts has A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and DeAndre Swift just remembered how to run this year. He was great for at least half the season. Like the best offensive line in football. What are we talking about? Like when it comes to someone has some star-studded cast and someone doesn't. Like Jalen's numbers this year were Dak's last year. Like they're the same numbers. So last year when everyone's, shitting on Dak, putting him as the fourth best quarterback in the NFC East, like we saw that. We saw that from literally every Washington fans, New York fans, and Philly fans, all of them putting Dak at like the 3 or 4 spot in the division. It's ridiculous. Like, dog, Jalen has had one like great season, and that great season was 3,700 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 6 picks. Now he did add another 13 touchdowns on the ground, so great numbers, right? But besides that, we saw him throw 16 touchdowns to like 9 interceptions his first full year as a starter. Like those aren't like great.
And we saw Jalen Hurts throw 3 interceptions against the Jets team with no Sauce Gardner and DJ.
He threw 15 this year. Like why and to think that a tush push, once a game makes him more of an MVP candidate than somebody else. It's just ridiculous. And I do acknowledge that Philly has mastered that play or had mastered that play until this playoff game, but whatever. We all acknowledge that they had done it better than anybody else. But it's not like they invented the thing. Tom Brady was doing it for years, it just wasn't 2 people pushing at his butt. Like, just the credit that is given to them is a little ridiculous, I think. And I think it got to their heads a little bit, thinking that they're all high and mighty because they went one good year. Now, granted, they won an NFC championship. And I will admit, I can't say that I've ever seen the Dallas Cowboys win an NFC championship since I've been alive. So I understand where like a lot of the shit talk comes from. But let me wrap it up with this, in my opinion. We still got 5. And it took 62 years or whatever for them to get that one against y'all. 62. So I get it. They're on a high right now. I get it. All right? It's cool. Just remember, we got 5. And it took y'all 62 years to get back to that one, with Nick Foles.
It wasn't even Carson Wentz, it was Nick Foles. And that was just a miracle. But it is what it is. This is Lambo and Matt's World of Sports. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Total Pro Nation. We also thank you, Silent Sports Network, for the platform. All right. We will be back soon. We might do a live stream for these games, but we'll be back soon. Y'all have a great night and take care.